Welcome to episode 216, Frank Lowy, from Czech refugee immigrant to shopping mall king of the world. This is an outline of episode 216. There are 3 reasons why we study Frank Lowy. First, he built Westfield, arguably Australia's first multinational corporation and most successful global company. Second, he owns 177 malls and is the mall king of the world. Third, he came to Australia in 1952 almost penniless. Frank Lowy was born in Slavokia, Czechoslovakia in 1930 to Jewish family.
Hugo Lowy was an ordinary husband and moved his wife and children from their hometown on the Slovakian border to the relative safety of Budapest. But their fragile world crumbled in March 1944 when the Nazis invaded.
The most precious commodity in life is freedom.
The most precious commodity in life is freedom. Well, it's hard for me to describe myself. I'd rather not actually, but obviously it affected me. It affected me in a way that probably made me a lot harder than otherwise I would have been. And I think it gives me a wider perspective. I think I know what not to have. What does it mean not to have? Either freedom or food.
From 1946 to 1952, he fought for Israel against the Arabs, and he was severely injured. 1952, he arrived in Australia penniless. Soon he met another Holocaust survivor, John Sanders. Together, in 1959, Frank Lowy and John Sanders built their first shopping mall in Blacktown, Australia. He was 29 years old. Blacktown is in the suburb of Sydney and is about 20 miles from downtown Sydney.
I think the first 10 years of my arrival to Australia, from 52 to 62, I got married. I had 3 children. And of course, I have become a joint managing director of the then known Westfield Development Corporation.
The next year, 1960, the company was floated on the Australian Stock Exchange.
From 62, Westfield has grown in Australia so much that we have decided mid-70s we moved to America. The business grew in America that it became bigger than Australia. Next, John Sanders has retired. Then I became the major shareholder and the chairman also.
Next, he built the iconic malls. The first iconic mall was in Bondi Junction, Sydney. In 2017, Bondi Junction Westfield has 499 stores.
And I think that these iconic malls are serving a much larger community at the same time, and they have a big footprint on the cities themselves. I'm very proud of each one and lots in between. So it's difficult to pick just one development that would be the most significant. We are looking to develop further iconic malls. The next will be in Italy, in Milan. And of course, the big development in the United Kingdom, the Westfield London. And then followed by Westfield Stratford. This is a very proud day for Westfield, but even more momentous day for East London. People in London now say that they don't say they go shopping, they say they go to Westfield.
The next, Frank Lowy's foray into television.
Frank Lowy's Westfield shopping centres, will we hear about it on Channel 10?
We know we've got a lot of work to do, we are doing it, and we are also quietly confident.
What was it, money or power, that attracted you?
We bought into the business because we feel that it'll be a good investment.
What about the power it brings you?
What power?
How long does it take for you to get Hawke on the phone when you want him?
Well, I've known Mr. Hawke for a long time. If I wanted to talk to him long before, I could still talk to him, and I suppose I could do the same.
But does he answer the phone a bit more quickly now that you've got a television station?
Not at all.
Not like that?
Not like that. It's got nothing to do with the television ownership whatsoever.
Next, trying to help Australia to host World Cup soccer.
He's leading the bid for Australia to host football's World Cup in either 2018 or 2022. Frank Lowy, welcome.
Thank you.
How confident are you that we can win this thing?
Well, I'm reasonably confident, but not overconfident. The competition is great, but I think we have a very good chance.
A lot of people, as you know, say there's a lot of money involved in this. The government's pouring in $45 million. There'll be a lot of time and energy devoted on your part. Would it be better to devote all of that to developing the game here in Australia?
Well, I think we are developing the game in Australia, but this is a different concept, a different level, a different stage of the nation, actually. I think it's a nation-changing event.
How is it going to change the nation?
And Frank Lowy's famous fall in 2015. For 85-year-old, he survived the fall remarkably well. The sale of Westfield in December 2017.
Frank Lowy is now selling his global retail group, the Westfield Corp, to the French property giant Unibail-Rodamco for $25 billion. The deal will create the world's biggest mall operator. Lowy started Westfield in Sydney almost 60 years ago with just one mall. Today, the company operates 35 of them around the world. Lowy said growing pressure from e-commerce was the main reason for his decision to sell.
Westfield and Unibail-Rodamco will create the leading shopping center company in the world. It will have the highest quality assets in the best markets across Europe, the United Kingdom and the United States. For the assets I've spent my life building, I could not imagine a better home for them than in this new company.
What have I learned today? First, Frank Lowy is a pioneer of the suburban mall in Australia. The demographics were behind him. Families were moving to the suburbs and automobile ownership was rising. Second, he was an innovator and an adapter. It took Frank Lowy 50 years to become mall king of the world. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and leave your questions and comments below. My next video will be Frank Lowy, Westfield Mall King of the World, 8 lessons. Wishing everyone peace and prosperity.